Welcome to the highlights of the opening day's play of this test match, the final test of the three-match series between Australia and South Africa. The South Africans lead 1-0. They played very well in Sydney. It was a very exciting game there. And in perfect conditions here today, Allan won the toss and decided Australia would bat. These were the teams announced by the two skippers at the toss. There was Border, Taylor, Slater, Boone, the two wars, Healy, Rifle, Warne, McDermott, May and McGrath is 12th man. Now the South Africans have made some changes. They have Peter Kirsten in, so too Brian McMillan and Richard Snell, and out go Kepler Wessels, Pat Simcox, the off-spinner, and Craig Matthews. I'm surprised Simcox is out. Gary Kirsten will be doing the off-spinning for the South Africans, and he's taken just 14 first-class wickets, and he's played 58 matches. Conditions just about perfect out there in the centre when Taylor and Slater went out. We join play now in the second over. It's none for one. Bowling is Fani de Villiers. Mark Taylor has taken strike. Your commentators, Bill Laurie and Greg Chappell.
Well, that's bad luck. He took 10 wickets in the Sydney Test match, Fani de Villiers. That doesn't do your confidence any good at all.
Dear oh dear. You could easily do yourself an injury having that happen to you first ball of the day. It will not have done his confidence any good.
Ran quite hard, Fani de Villiers. Good start by Taylor. Gets a half volley, maybe a nervous half volley from Fani de Villiers, and that's a good shot. They should almost run four here. Hesitate, that's poor running. Don't know what they were doing in the end. No wicket for 5. Allan Donald to continue. Cathedral end. It's very strong and beautifully played. Outfield not all that quick. A bit of grass cover there, but it finds the fence. The perfect cover drive. Nicely played. This square leg got to go all the way for 4. 8 runs off the over. No wicket for 23.
Richard Snell.
Richard Snell really does try to cut the ball a lot. And strangely, for a guy who's bowling leg cutters, every now and again he gets one to swing back into the left-hander quite sharply.
One pulled away and it will go to the boundary, will it? Oh no, he's dragged it back. That's well done. Nice timing down there. That's a very fast outfield. Matthews out on the ground, dragging that one back down at square leg.
Good chase there by Craig Matthews. Once again, the horizontal bat shot being employed there by Mark Taylor. And it appears that Allan Donald is off the field momentarily, and Matthews is substituting for him.
It's a wonderful start in the first hour. No wicket for 44, and it's been a very comfortable and confident start by Mark Taylor and Michael Slater. It's going to be McMillan from the river end. Right arm medium pace.
That was going at a tremendous bat. He got that right off the middle. Just pick up 2 runs for it there.
Still plenty of room here. That's cut away. No ball call. That'll be 4. Beautifully played by Michael Slater. That brings up the 50 stand. That's a wonderful start for Australia in the first morning of the final test match. That's another one, maybe the long boundary. If it doesn't go, they should run all 4 here. It's a long chase for mid-off. De Villiers are through for 3. And they'll come back easily for the 4th. They had 2 fast runners. You could even squeezing an extra run there. It's a long hit down to long off. Beautiful off drive from Michael Slater. Allan Donald back on the field. That's good news for South Africa. He'll need to bowl a fiery spell here shortly.
Now the scoreboard at the Adelaide Oval, pretty special scoreboard up there. It's got every little bit of information that you require. You can see there Slater with the light on next to his name is on strike, so that little light says that Slater's on strike. Macmillan, you can see there alongside the 4, there's a little red dot there. He's the bowler, and a little light comes on alongside the fielder as well that fields the ball. So this one going down towards the fine leg boundary off the bat. So 4 runs, just slightly off line there.
Australia none for 77, and we're seeing a change in ends for Allan Donald. So obviously the captain feeling that perhaps the wind has changed around a little. It's welcome to the crease, Allan. 54, Michael Slater. Oh, that's a bit too quick, and he's finished up, caught at cover. Now the umpire has given him out. It's umpire Prue. Just not sure what happened there, because Slater reached for his helmet. I'm not sure whether he was trying to indicate to the umpire that it had come off the helmet.
Well, he always holds his hat when things happen. Now the question is, did he get an edge on that before did his crash helmet? And that was a very, very fast bouncer. It hit the bat, then onto the helmet and up in the air. So at last, from South Africa's point of view, they have struck. Slater out for 53, 6 fours in that knock. He was out there for 116 balls, and the score now 1 for 83.
David Boone, well, on this day in both 1991 and 1992, David Boone scored centuries in test matches. The first one against England, the second one against India.
Meantime, this is Donald. It's very well played by Boone. He plays that one so beautifully off his toes. Flicked that one away behind square for 4.
That wasn't a bad delivery, actually. Allan Donald trying to get the Yorker in with the new batsman at the crease.
Yes. Well played too. He likes them there as well. Well, in this over so far, he's just played the 2 shots he likes most. Cut on the offside and the flick to leg. So he moves on to 8, 2 boundaries.
Well, he loves him there. Well played again. That one's had the sting taken out of it, so it may not get to the fence.
Boone thinking about the 3rd here and getting there. Just a little bit of indecision there. And in the meantime, Taylor on strike. And we've had a change in the bowling as well. De Villiers taking over from Macmillan. And in the commentary box now, it's going to be Bill Laurie, and with him is Ian Chappell.
De Villiers from Cathedral End. Mark Taylor whips that through mid-wicket. The fieldsman dived, didn't get a hand to it. That's 4.
Very, very close. It was hit in the air, and Gary Kirsten had just been moved into that position by the captain. Valiant dive from Kirsten, but just out of his reach. You see there the bowler, as they so often do, with a bit of body language, trying to help the fielder in his dive.
Don't get carried, but it was it went for 4, but it wasn't right off the moon of the bat. That's well struck. Taylor breaking loose there. That's a beautiful cover drive. Johnny Rhodes, the fieldsman, should get it. 2 more to Mark Taylor. In fact, they're coming back to the 3rd, and the throw is wide. Taylor just breaking the shackles in this over from De Villiers. 41 overs bowled, 1 from 109 in a great start by Mark Taylor, Michael Slater and David Boone on the first day of the final test match. Snell going around the wicket to Mark Taylor. On top of a slow pitch, that's through the gap. That's the single, and that's 50 to Mark Taylor. Another 50, he's a run machine. Richard Snell continues from the river end. David Boone cracks that beautifully off the back foot. That breaks the shackles for Boone. His 3rd boundary, beautifully played just forward a point.
3rd 4 for David Boone. And he's really struck a couple of very good shots in this area.
Boone's faced 49 balls and only had a few scoring shots. 3 of them have been boundaries.
Finally, De Villiers continuing from the scoreboard or Cathedral end.
There's a good stroke from Mark Taylor. Long part of the ground. Give you an idea of how well he's timed it. Luckily for the fielder, it's run into the gutter. Otherwise, they'd have run 5 for sure. It's 1 for 131.
Snell, bowler from the River Torrens end. Snell sliding onto the pads of Boone. Doesn't have a lot of trouble with those. He's a very good player off his pads. Pretty good player all around the wicket, really. He's looking quite comfortable out there. So that brings up the 50. Partnership between these two. 133 the total. Boone has 21 of those. Taylor's on 54. So a 74-minute, 50-run partnership. Boone again. Pick up 2 more there. Just allowed the ball to run off the face of the bat. Didn't try and hit it too hard. Just made sure he ran it into the gap.
Wasn't hit hard by David Boone. Just rolled his wrists on it there. In line with the pads. And it makes it very difficult for a bowler. It's 1 for 135.
Change of bowling at the Cathedral end. The South African captain bringing himself into the attack. That's a bit better.
Once again, the fielder may cut that off just inside the boundary. If he's able to stop them taking 4, he's done well. And, in fact, he has done. That's a good chase.
Bit of frustration out there for the South African captain.
Not surprised, 1 for 140 after he called in correctly for the 3rd time on the trot. 2 limited overs internationals where Australia won. And now a match Australia has to win. And once again, when Allan Border flipped the coin up, 3rd time on the trot, Hensi Cronje gave it the wrong call.
It's a nice shot from David Boone. There'll be a bit more running to be done here. The Adelaide Oval straight boundaries make it hard work for the fielders and the batsmen. They should get 4 this time.
Well, they didn't do it by much. They only just got there. It's 1 for 144.
There's a change in bowling from the River end. Brian McMillan, who seems to be having a bit of trouble with his left knee, replacing Richard Snell, and replacing Richie and I in the commentary position, Tony and Bill.
Went through where the slips would have been. They've tried to get Boone in that region all day. 150 comes up with that edge, but there's only the one slip and a gully in. Where that would have gone to the fieldsman not as debatable, but certainly it was a false stroke.
Yes, watch this one off the shoulder of the bat there and in the air, but that area not covered.
Gary Kirsten going around the wicket to Mark Taylor with his right arm off spin. Beats him in flight there from Gary Kirsten. Got him, that's a good change. Taylor beaten in fight. His first test wicket for Gary Kirsten, and what a great one for South Africa. Nice fight, slow delivery. Taylor down the pitch, bowled neck and crop.
Well, he could be getting some overs now. This is a vital breakthrough. Taylor just getting a little fidgety. Just let's see if we can pick a little bit of drift there. Taylor playing all round that one. He really was outside the line of that one. It drifted through there between bat and pad and hit the stump. So Gary Kirsten striking for South Africa, bowling his off spinners, and Mark Taylor on his way back now, out for 62. It's 2 for 152.
Mark Waugh, career average of 41.06, highest score of 139. A wicket maiden. It's 2 for 152.
David Boone on 31 has been joined by Mark Waugh now, and Boone is on strike. McMillan the bowler. Oh, big appeal there for LBW, not out though. Let's have another look at that one. It couldn't have been far away. I think he perhaps just got himself outside the line.
or was cutting back from off to leg. It was very, very close. He was just a fraction forward. He's pretty close to the umpire. Oh no, it was cutting too much. Great shot. It's 4 for David Boone. McMillan just giving him some width there. Brings up his 5th boundary. 4 of them have been in that region between backward point and forward of the point region. Oh, got him in trouble. That was a very good delivery. That did seam back a long way, and that struck Mark Warne on the elbow. A very good delivery from McMillan.
Yes, he's a very relaxed character, but watch this, right on the point of the elbow. Back it comes, and there's no doubt that that'll be very, very sore. Now, he's a very casual customer. He won't show it much, but he tries to drop his elbow out of the way there, right on the end of the bone. And so Boone, quite rightly, going down the pitch to him and say, look, just take your time a little bit here, because if you can give yourself a little bit of time, it might be a little bit of a bit. In fact, I'm surprised he hasn't got the guy to come out and give him some of that spray.
12 months ago, David Boone retired hurt on this pitch with exactly the same delivery, hit on the elbow. So a little bit of an unexpected bounce from McMillan there. Oh, and he cuts it, and he's gone! Yes, yes, he's gone! 3rd time! Well, that was a good piece of bowling. He hit Mark Warne on the elbow, he gave him one with a bit of whip, and the man at gully made a meal of it, but finally on the 3rd grasp, held on to it, and the 3rd wicket's down for 159.
Yes, that really was hit very, very firmly, smashed away into the gully. Watch this ball bounce, and Snell is in there. He fumbles it once, fumbles it twice up against the chest, and boy, was he happy to clutch it against his tummy on that occasion. That's the 3rd time he got it. And so Mark Warne, having been hit on the shot on the end of the elbow, then plays a pretty loose shot there, and Snell makes a good catch of the bowling of McMillan. Good bowling by him, and a vital wicket for South Africa. Mark Warne out for 2, and Australia now 3 for 159.
On board 153 test matches, which is a lot of cricket. High score 205, 10,000 runs, an average of 50.85. That was a very important dismissal for South Africa. Since Kirsten knocked over Mark Taylor for 62, they picked up 2 wickets for 7 runs.
That's a beautiful shot from David Boone. I think they've got to take the attack to Gary Kirsten, because he is flighting the ball a lot. I really do think that you've got to use your feet to that sort of stuff. David Boone there dealing with that one beautifully. 6.2 overs, 3 maidens.
Look at Olivia Boone get some pat on that. What Kirsten's doing for his captain is resting the pacemen. Villiers, Snell and McMillan rested. Water charges and gets it down to long on. De Villiers dives, misses. And they'll pick up 3.
Timed pretty well there by Allan Border. I think Varney de Villiers fancied he had a chance of cutting that one off.
3 for 174. Allan Donald to bowl his 15th over. 14 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 41 from the river end. Border on strike. There's a shot, it's in the air, the man's coming around, it's going to fall in, is it? Oh dear, it was one of those ones, he sort of pulled out, it was a Snell. Probably not going to make it, but that was the bounce. It was good bowling, and fortunately for Border, it didn't carry. It was a good toss to win when you're going with 2 spinners, May and Warne. And Boone pulls this time, pulls it nicely away, that should just about get there. Not off the meat of the bat, but it's 4 more. Boone's 7th boundary and his 46th. All square of the wicket. It's gone again. I'm sure that's good bowling. It's a good shot. It brings up his 50. Down, he's gone, surely. Yes, he's fallen for it. Well, that's unusual, isn't it? He's bowled 3 in a row, and Boone went again with 2 men out, and de Villiers took a catch, and that could turn this test match right around. That was very courageous bowling by Donald. He dropped the short one and again, and Boone went for it.
Once again, the difference being that he just got the top edge, and it was more over off stump on that occasion. The previous two pull shots were at David Boone. Barney de Villiers, the fieldsman there, and a delighted Allan Donald. He'll give away 8 runs for a wicket any time, and especially when it's a top order player like David Boone, who is well set. It's 4 for 183.
Steve Waugh playing his first test match against South Africa, comes to the wicket. The fall of David Boone for 50.
Gary Kirsten will be continuing from the cathedral end. That's a good shot. Steve Waugh just picking the gap there, but the mid-on fielder makes a meal of it. Just makes a bit of a mess getting away to the right-hand side. It's a good shot by Allan Border. Timing perhaps not as perfect as he would have liked. He still picked the gap. There was some good sliding. I don't know that it was sensible sliding. Someone's hit the fence very hard. Jonty Rhodes, I think, and he stuck his foot under the advertising sign.
And that's the sort of thing Allan Border needs to do. He also needs to run very fast, because that's stopped as though he's played a good sand wedge into the green. And he's picked up just 2 runs.
That brings up the 200 for Australia. Allan Border has moved along to 14. Steve Waugh along to 10. Steve Waugh finds the gap this time. Jonty Rhodes, I think, will think twice about sliding into the boundary this time. The Australian flag is in the air.
Well, Richard Snell now is going to take up the attack. He's got onto that one just over the top. It'll run away to the short boundary there for 4. So Border registering his first boundary, and his score moves up to 20.
This is where Hansi Cronje may have blundered by not bringing his pace bowlers back when David Boone was out, when both Border and Steve Waugh had not got into double figures, because Border now is starting to pick the short one up and pulling it away nicely for 4.
And it looks as if now Allan Donald is going to take up the attack. They've taken the new ball. There it is.
Beautifully hit, but he's picked out Jonty Rhodes. Not so sure that Jonty's pleased that he picked him out.
I think that hurt. Jonty Rhodes has already had a broken hand on this tour so far.
He's in a lot of pain there. In fact, may have even been a little dizzy when he went to walk away, which suggests that look there, as though it may have bounced up and hit him right on the end of the thumb.
Well, the news from the South African dressing room was that it was only bad bruising, but it did look to me be slightly more serious than that. There were 12 more runs added to take the Australians along for 4 for 240 at the close of play. Border's there on 28 and Steve Waugh on 32, but they did lose those 3 quick wickets for just 8 runs before tea, and that was a real setback for the Australians. I had the feeling they were let off the hook by Gary Kirsten being allowed to continue bowling there. He finished up with quite good figures, 1 for 32 from 16 overs and 6 maidens, but I was certain there should have been 2 pacemen in there attacking both Border and Stephen Waugh. 2 for 61 for Donald, 1 for 52 for McMillan, and 1 for 32 for Kirsten. And it finished up just about even, I reckon, at the end of the day. But it could have been, in my opinion, so much worse for the Australians. For the moment, from the Adelaide Oval, it's goodbye. Welcome to the highlights of the second day's play of the Test match in Adelaide. This is the final one in the series between Australia and South Africa. Yesterday, the Australians did pretty well to get up to 4 for 240 at the close of play. Both sides could have said at the end of the day that they had a reasonable time out there. The Australians would be pleased that they only lost the 4 wickets. The top score there, Taylor 62, Slater made 53 and Boone 50. Unbeaten, Allan Border on 28 and Steve Waugh 32. The bowling figures for South Africa, I thought they fell away when they didn't use the 2 pacemen against Border and Waugh in that partnership, which was of great benefit to Australia. Donald took 2 for 61, McMillan 1 for 52, and Gary Kirsten, the part-time off-spinner, 16 overs, 6 maidens and 1 for 32. Well, Steve Waugh played pretty well yesterday afternoon in that partnership with Allan Border, and I reckon he's the key man out there today. He's facing Allan Donald now. There's no addition to the score, and your commentators are Bill Laurie and Greg Chappell.
Nicely driven, the half volley. Donald pitching well up. Cronje the chaser. They go very close to 4 here. Very happy with 3. It's one of the problems with Allan Donald. He seems to bowl in spells where he's quick and spells where he bowls within himself, and I would think this morning his first over should be his quickest. This was really a genuine half volley. Hit it on the rise, but it was not quick, and Steve Waugh found the gap at mid-off. Beautifully driven, that'll go for 4. Andy slowing down. Pick up 3. Definitely the outfield slower than normal here. Waugh hit that right off the meat of the bat. It's a beautiful driver. Always just with a full face of the bat. That's superb stroke. That will be 4.
That's no place to bowl to any Test batsman, but particularly Steve Waugh. Very strong on the pads. Really just whipped that away. It wasn't a great deal of energy. Redirected the energy that Allan Donald had created for him. Just going down the leg side and off the meat of the bat. Just turning the wrist on it very nicely.
Breaks the shackles. That's a brilliant shot.
That's the way you stop the bowlers bowling short. A few problems there for Allan Donald, not least of all. He's bowled into one of the strengths of Steve Waugh, a brilliant cutter, hits the ball very powerfully.
Donald now out of the attack. He bowled 5 overs, conceded 18 runs, and we're now going to see McMillan take over. Well played, and it's going down towards the square leg boundary. That's Stephen Waugh's 50. He's come in when things were getting just a little tough for Australia, and he and Border now really have put together a very useful partnership. Yes, that's 225 runs Stephen Waugh scored without being dismissed in the last couple of Test matches. Oh, and there's that short one causing a few problems for him. Tried to drop his gloves there, and that hit him right on the thumb. Bang. Knocked his glove right off the bat of the handle there.
Nancy Cronje going in to seal him off. That brings up the 100 partnership. For all run. Boundaries have been hard to come by. Occasionally at the Adelaide Oval, you've got to be prepared to run them all. The 100 partnership now between Border and Steve Waugh. Bright sunny day as it was yesterday. Temperature in the high 20s. Good hats and some ordinary hats. And no hats at all for some. Villiers gives Steve Waugh a bit of room. That's all he needs outside the off stump. Villiers replacing McMillan. One spell from the Cathedral end earlier this morning, from the River Torrens end. Not the start he was looking for. We've got a change in the commentary box. Ian Chappell with Bill Laurie.
It's a good bouncer. Villiers had to drop that quite short, but that was sharp. He doesn't bowl many, and he normally bowls them right at the batsman.
Yes, he uses it as a surprise weapon, the bouncer. And it is a very good surprise weapon because it's so accurate.
That's a brilliant shot. Probably the best shot of the morning. Whipping it from middle and leg, brings up to 300. Superbly timed and placed.
Much more confident Steve Waugh this season than last season in Australia. That was a beautiful shot.
4 for 302 on the second day of the final Test match at the Adelaide Oval. Problem for Angie Cronje. Richard Snell off the ground at the moment, one of his main strike bowlers. Border drives beautifully, uses his feet. Didn't quite get the middle of the bat, but they'll pick up 3.
premeditated shot there by Allan Border. He was off down the track before Kirsten even let the ball go.
And he's finding it hard work at the moment to get the initial breakthrough he needs this morning. Border cuts and cuts well. Well timed and well placed. That brings up the 50 for Allan Border. Good captain's knock. Slow and steady. That's the full shot. It's a bad ball, and that could have either gone over or on the ground. He decided he would have on the ground. Another 4 to Stephen Waugh. His 10th. This possibly will be the last over before the luncheon break on the second day. It's going to be Peter Kirsten, part-time bowler, bowling to Stephen Waugh. And there he goes, he hammers it through cover. So he concedes 4 runs, maybe just trying to get a false stroke. Kirsten pitching short.
Once again, a good example of both the timing and the way that Steve Waugh is using this ground to his advantage.
The umpires are at the ready. They've signalled to the scorers that play can begin. And in the commentary box now, Tony Gregg, and with him is Ian Chappell.
Thank you, Richie. Yes, it's going to be an interesting little session now leading up to tea time. Not often that batsmen these days get to break records made by the Armstrongs and the Trumpers of this world. This is the 5th wicket record, which they're level with now. Against South Africa, that is. It's 143. Gone off the inside edge. They're going to get one there, so that breaks that partnership. Just 1 run from the over. 4 down for 327. Donald's going to continue now with just 1 slip and a very deep gully in position. No leg slip or forward short leg for Waugh. Nicely played. Well pitched up, driven down the ground. That's in the fieldsman. Oops, and trying to catch him by surprise there. The bowler certainly got a surprise.
Just get the feeling that Allan Donald's in dream world a little bit, and if you're standing at the stumps and the ball's being returned, I'm not sure why you'd be surprised that it was thrown to you.
Single here, shy at the stumps, and that would have been close. And that's the 3rd time that the South Africans have missed the stumps when trying to run Border out. I saw Hansie Cronje on that occasion. No, it wasn't. It was Hudson on that occasion missing the stumps. Off the meat of the bat again. A lovely shot from Stephen Waugh. That'll go to the fence. So 10 runs from that over. Waugh for 340. Waugh on 94, so he's just 6 short of his century, and Border is getting closer and closer to scoring 11,000 runs. 3 runs to go now, and he's on strike. He's got that one away, and that's it. Allan Border has reached 11,000 runs, and appropriately too, he's pulled it away for his 2nd boundary. So it's a pretty special moment. That's young Border Dean giving his old man a bit of a hand as well.
And Allan Border really getting that one off the middle of the bat. It's a shot that he plays so well throughout his career. Rather appropriate that he should reach the milestone with such a signature shot.
So that's his dad out in the centre, and isn't he enjoying it? Apparently young Dean bats right-handed. And bowls leggies. Good shot. That's much better. Border thumping that one through the extra cover gap there. It's running down towards the long boundary. Won't quite get there, but they'll get 3. This is much more like it.
Suddenly the timing is there as well. The pull shot was hit right off the middle of the bat.
Getting that one away nicely too. So back to the 2nd. So that brings up to 350 for Australia. Border's out there on 72. Stephen Waugh just 3 short of his century. In the commentary box now, it's going to be Richie Benno, and with him Greg Chappell.
got it. Or did it come just off the pad? No, it's come off the bat. Allan Donald knew that it had come off the bat because he clapped his hands to his head, and Stephen Waugh has made 100. It's his 7th Test match 100 and his 4th in Australia.
And it's going to be McMillan now, but I must say, the South Africans look just a little flat out there today. They haven't been as bubbly as normal. Their fielding through this tour has been absolutely superb.
It's a good shot. There's a man at square leg. He won't stop that. McMillan dropping it in short, which is his method, but Border, a fine call. Brings up the 200-run partnership between Allan Border and Stephen Waugh. The score from 4 for 183 to 4 for 383.
This is a good shot, this one. Very short, and Border getting that pull shot going again.
Big shout, it could be out. Yes, Border works. A wide delivery. McMillan getting Border to drive. Got a faint edge, and the Australian captain departs for 84. He's there for 329 minutes with 3 boundaries, and that's the partnership that needed to be broken. And finally, it was McMillan with a very wide delivery.
Yes, there's the neck, and nicely taken, just short there, and Allan Border wandering off the ground now to a huge ovation.
Ian Healy, 9 years of age, high score 113, an average of 25.14, comes to the crease because Allan Border's finally out, 84.
Well, straight away in goes the bouncer from McMillan. I tell you what, he's probably got a little excited now.
McMillan continues to Ian Healy. Big shout, he's forward, he's caught, he's out. Here he goes for a duck, inside edge onto the pad, and that man, Jonty Rhodes, diving forward, and McMillan strikes another blow. And this is very important if they contain Australia around about 450 in the first innings.
Well, what a good catch this is. I'm sure he gave him out caught by Jonty Rhodes. The initial appeal may well have been for LBW, but let's see if we can pick up any edge here. Very difficult it'll be, I tell you that. And his head did move very quickly to the right as he saw the ball fly in the air. He moved backwards and really looked as if he was a little upset about that dismissal. So, out for a duck, Ian Healy, and Australia now 6 down for 391.
Paul Rifle takes guard to Brian McMillan as Regan and Chappell take up the commentary.
Rifle batting at 8, so Brian McMillan feels that he's capable of handling a few shorter deliveries. He's banged a couple in, trying to get them up around about chest height.
That's a lovely shot. Good reply to the short pitch delivery, brings up the 400 for Australia. Gary Kirsten has now been called into the attack. No one out in front of square leg. That may change now.
Picking up the tempo now as the Australian batting lineup. Allan Border looked like he was trying to pick it up earlier when he was dismissed. Steve Waugh now doing the job against the part-time spin bowling of Gary Kirsten.
Once again, he's found that gap. Let it go very close to the boundary. Andrew Hudson making good ground from mid-wicket. Paul Rifle gets back for the 4-all run. Once again, tremendous placement from Steve Waugh as he really picks up the pace. His 18th boundary. It's 6 for 422.
It's 150. Fine innings. Australia in a very solid position due to the magnificent 150 not out by Stephen Waugh. Villiers good honest workhorse. 36.1 overs, no wicket for 80. Full rifle, who plays it nicely late, out the third man. He's back for 2. Any score over 400 is a good one in a test match, particularly when you're 4 for 183. That's well hit. In fact, it's beautifully hit over mid-wicket. For the rifle, 6 for 438. And it's good afternoon to Richie Beno and Tony Gregg.
Fielded, that one was just hit in the air a little bit. Going to go that one in the fence for 4, so that brings up the 450 now. Steve Waugh really cutting loose.
Six for 463, 164 for Steve Waugh. Rate this innings as being in line with the one I saw him play at Lord's in 1989. Terrific knock that day in 89. Good support from Paul Rifle.
Oops, and once again, despite the fact that he's got a lot of runs on the board, 164, still having the odd problem with a short ball. Really played this one like a hand grenade. Yes, and a big appeal there. That was a big deflection too, and he's given him out as well. Waugh can't believe that. Well, I'm not too sure that didn't come off the middle of his thigh pad. Stephen Waugh just looking down the wicket as if to say, well, I don't believe it. He's wandering off the ground now. A lot of these thigh pads are made out of glass fibre, and they do deflect off quite firmly. Now the crowd is standing up and giving him a big applause. That's not going to please Waugh too much. But it did seem to me that that one was right off the middle of the thigh pad. And almost a half-hearted appeal there. And then all of a sudden, up goes the finger.
That's a great ovation for Steve Waugh.
Going for 464. Shane Warne is the new batsman. High score of 74 not out there. New Zealand is on strike now. Oh, and straight away, a good delivery there from Donald, right up and straight. It's better over from Donald, certainly better for his figures. 1 run and 1 wicket. 7 for 464. Played right off the meat of the bat again, and so Warne off the mark. He's hit that one straight down the ground, running away down to that long boundary. 4 runs off that over. 7 for 468. Well, the news here is that Allan Border has called his players in, so the Australians have declared.
That's a good declaration from Allan Border. Not quite as many runs as he would have wished, but yesterday the Australians were deep in trouble when he came together in that partnership with Stephen Waugh. They managed to get through yesterday evening, 4 for 240, now 7 for 469, so they can be well pleased with that. Steve Waugh, a wonderful innings of 164, and the partnership with Allan Border, 208 in 445 balls. Border making 84, just 16 short of a century in what might be his last test match in Australia. 32 to Paul Rifle, he played well, and 470 needed for a first innings lead for the South Africans, who bowled pretty well considering all the circumstances. 3 for 122, Allan Donald from 38 overs and 7 maidens. 3 for 89, Millen. I thought him very impressive, very good indeed. 30 overs and 3 maidens. He kept at it all the time, and Gary Kirsten, the 1 wicket at a cost of 62. So a very good performance from the Australians to get back from what could have been a disaster area. In a moment, we'll have a look at the South African innings. The 2 opening batsmen for South Africa, Andrew Hudson and Gary Kirsten, right and left hand respectively. And we join play now in the 2nd over. Paul Rifle is the bowler. Kirsten is taking strike. It's no wicket for 1. Ian and Greg Chappell are your commentators.
There's runs there for Kirsten. He hasn't hit it with the full flow of the bat. There should be 3 runs at least. long boundary down there. They may even run 4.
Excellent running there from Andrew Hudson. He really is quite quick between wickets. Gary Kirsten, we've seen him run with Jonty Rhodes in the one-day game, and he keeps up with Jonty pretty well.
That one's gone down through the slip cordon, running away down towards third man, and it's going very quickly over the outfield there, but won't get there. So it's a long, long boundary. They'll come back for the 4th. No wicket for 16.
Craig McDermott to Andrew Hudson.
That's nicely played. Got that away all the way along the ground now. That's as good a hook shot as we've seen.
Yes, it was actually, I think it was a pull shot in the end because it didn't get up that high. I think he was looking for the hook and McDermott banged it in short, but let's see how high it bounced. Just above the stumps. In the end, it was actually a pull shot. Hit straight into the turf. Let's see, over bowled. It's no wicket for 20.
We're going to see a change in the attack here. We're going to see Tim May into the attack. Yes. It's well played. Just turned a little bit, but nicely played. Right off the meat of the bat again. Gary Kirsten getting that ball away very well square. Spin on here very early. That silly point is going to get himself a nice little pummeling there if he keeps bowling it short. That's a lovely shot again into the fence for 4. Oh, and that's off the edge, wide of Taylor, and the seagulls scatter as that one goes running down towards third man. That could so easily have gone straight to slip. And Taylor is so good in that position. Had it been just a little closer to him, he may just well have grabbed onto it.
It's a careless shot. He picks up 3 runs. That's great in the end, but really it was a sort of a nothing shot with the bottom hand there, and he forced it wide of Mark Taylor for 3.
Shane Warne is going to continue with his leg breaks. Very attacking field, and this will be the last over of the day. Full toss. And it's going to run all the way down the ground. Slater doing the fielding there.
So it wasn't a great effort by McDermott at mid-on. And it wasn't a great shot from Andrew Hudson.
So that's the end of the day's play. South Africa no wicket for 39.
Well, that's a good performance from the 2 South African openers, Andrew Hudson and Gary Kirsten, 17 and 16 respectively, and 39 off 13 overs, so they kept it moving along there, and they still need 231 to avoid the follow-on. That's their first priority, and then they will hope to keep batting. They're 1-0 in the series, and a good performance there. So another good day's cricket here at the Adelaide Oval, with just on 19,000 people present compared with the 18,000 on the first day, and some fascinating cricket coming up on the 3rd day tomorrow. We look forward to having you with us. For the moment, it's goodbye. Welcome to the highlights of the 3rd day's play between Australia and South Africa at the Adelaide Oval. This is the final test match of the series, and it's at a very interesting stage. This is the card. The South Africans, none for 39 at the start of play. Hudson 17, Kirsten 16. And the bowling figures for the Australians, 4 bowlers used, McDermott none for 11, Rifle none for 10, May and Warne the other 2 bowlers used. Conditions were very good once again for this 3rd day, temperature around about 27 degrees, and the pitch will be in pretty good order for both sides. We join play now in the 3rd over. There's been no addition to the score. May is the bowler, he's bowling to Hudson, and your commentators are Bill Laurie and Greg Chappell.
It's out. I reckon there was a nick there onto the pad. There was 2 noises, or did he hit the pad? Taylor certainly caught it. Well, that was a very interesting decision. You could hear the 2 noises. And the big shout there for the catch in the end from Ian Healy and the slip. Nice drive, beautifully played cover drive, right to the pitch of the ball. The outfield not lightning fast, may not make the boundary. Ian Healy keeping brilliantly against the spinners and not so well recently standing back. Surprising. Normally, that's a beautiful shot. Maybe this one will go for 4. No, it won't. The outfield heavily grassed in beautiful condition.
Gary Kirsten just falls over a little bit towards the offside, playing against Tim May. Might bring David Boone into play.
Big shout and a good look by the umpire there. Gary Kirsten hasn't scored this morning. Still on 16. He's faced 28 balls. That's a worry for him.
He probably would have hit the stumps, but can't be given out.
He breaks the shackles with the off drive. Uses his feet nicely. That brings up the 50 partnership. It's no wicket for 51.
Right, we're going to have a change now. And the man himself getting a bit of a cheer, as he always does when he's brought into the attack. Straight away, bang on target. All sorts of whoos and haws on out there. The first ball, see how close it was to the leg stump. Notice this one pitching outside leg stump and then spinning back, and well, I'd say it was about 3 inches from leg stump.
You just have to run up and bowl on this good batting track out there. You have to concentrate on bowling a good length. It's no good having the batsman picking you off the occasional boundary like that. You have to be patient and you have to bowl a very good length. You have to have great control out there if you're going to be successful on a day like this.
Yes, that's a top shot. He got it away right off the meat of the bat. Oh, and they wanted it. Once again, did it go off the pad and onto the glove? If it did, it's got to go down as a pretty straightforward chance. Healy went across in front of Taylor there. Let's have another look at that. Did it flick the glove again? Looked as if it may have done that. A little hard from that angle. See if you can pick it up here. Oh, yes. Just flicked the glove, and that really should have been out.
No wicket for 75. Interesting battle at the Adelaide Oval. Very good start by Hudson and Kirsten. That's a beautiful shot. He used his feet and opened himself up to get the room to hit it down the onside. 3 more to Gary Kirsten. That's a beautiful shot. He waited for that and punched it down through long on. 8 runs off the over, a very productive one for South Africa. No wicket for 83. It's a lovely place to watch the cricket. Well-behaved crowds here in Adelaide as well. That's a good reply from Andrew Hudson. No one giving him the eye, but that's a beautiful square drive. It's a little bit like Bill Talon. If they're not careful, they get sunburnt at the back of the mouth.
Shane Warne showing signs of frustration here. He's been a bit frustrated by the fact that he's hit Hudson on the pads quite a few times.
That's a beautiful shot. He's a strong back foot player, Gary Kirsten. He's already pulled a boundary off Warne, and that's a lovely cut shot.
2 things about Kirsten. 1, he's a very good placer of the ball, and 2, he doesn't try to hit it too hard.
Terrific opening stand for South Africa when they're facing a big total, particularly in a match where they can wrap up the series, leading 1-0 in the series. It's well run. And the partnership is up. He's also a tough man, Gary Kirsten. Doesn't even bother to rub that. And he's caught, or should be caught at mid-on. So McDermott has had success there with the quicker short delivery, and I think he's fooled Kirsten with the pace of that one.
Very well bowled. It's not given him the full bore of speed all the way through, and suddenly he really let one go. And Gary Kirsten didn't have time to roll the bat on it. The bat face was very, very open. And Tim May was the man coming round to take the catch. That's a good wicket for Craig McDermott. Very cleverly bowled. And a good one for the Australians. Kirsten 43, nice knock from him, 1 for 100.
South African skipper Hansie Cronje batting at number 3 for a good part of this series.
Craig McDermott, the man who broke through for the Australians just before lunch. And now Paul Rifle is going to be the bowler. Tony Gregg's in the commentary box, and with him is Ian Chappell.
Oh, he's got him, caught behind, big nick that one, went down and well taken by Healy, just a slightly thicker edge and it would have gone to the vacant first slip area, but Healy was quick and he took the catch, and so Cronje is out for a duck.
Hansie Cronje getting a good delivery there, right on line, round off stump, good catch from Ian Healy. So Paul Rifle has done the job for his skipper, and it's 2 for 103.
Well, Peter Kirsten is the new batsman. Hasn't played many test matches. Taylor going into an orthodox slip position. He's on his own there. Kirsten off the mark. So 2 for 105 there. Hudson on 49 and Peter Kirsten on 1. Jonty Rhodes due to come in next. In the meantime, it's going to be the off spin of May. That's it. That's his half century. It was tossed up too, and he's hit that one very well indeed. Went after it, May tempted him out there, and Hudson hit that right off the meat of the bat. Very well played. Well, that's a good shot too. He really has hit that one nice and hard. Just a little bit of a touch on the arm there. Slater getting his hand to that one. Hit that one very hard. That's a good shot too. Very well played. Got a man in close on the offside. Lovely timing.
The reason why Peter Kirsten should be a good player of spin bowling. He played a lot of his career on the Cape Town ground, Newlands.
McDermott continues from the river end. It's a fine shot. Put hard into the ground. It's going to be 4. It's so important for South Africa to score boundaries. That was a shortish and wide delivery, and Kirsten banged it into the ground just backward a point.
And another one on the helmet for Peter Kirsten. Not what he wants. The fieldsman there, David Byrne, just checking with him to see that he's okay. Bill Laurie, will let you talk us through that.
It's a very interesting one here. Peter Kirsten was struck in Perth by Glenn McGrath. Almost a replay. He takes his eye off the ball very early, and he could have played that with a dead bat. It was only about 8 inches above the stumps, and he ducked right into it. Fortunately, I think it struck the protective gear on the side, and this time hasn't moved. So the extra protection and that rubber pad against the cheekbone protecting Peter Kirsten on that occasion, but not well played for a cricketer of his experience. He gets it away. He was tentatively coming forward, but he kept the hands down, pressed forward. They should nearly run 4 here. Kirsten a little bit slow, happy with the 3.
Two for 144. Mark Ward just being held up there. Water down there waiting for the catch and letting that one go down at the non-striker's end. Allan Border right on his toes down there. Well, there's the short one, well played too. He really has got onto that one. Plays that shot very well. You can see why he did so well against the West Indies. 6 runs for off the over, 2 for 150.
In the commentary box now, Tony Gregg, and with him is Bill Laurie.
Thank you, Richie. Yes, Andrew Hudson on 90 here has a chance to score a Test 100 on the Adelaide Oval. He'll be the first South African on this tour to get a century in the Test matches. Change of bowling. It's going to be Stephen Waugh from the Cathedral end to Hudson on 90. Just the one slip in. 2 short people in catching position on the off and leg sides. Steve Waugh asked a question there for a catch down the leg side. No support from Healy. Oh dear, he's well forward. Well, that's a courageous decision from umpire Hare. After the tee break, Andrew Hudson on 90 pushing well forward. He had a good hard look at it. And this will be a very interesting replay, this one.
Good appeal from Steve Waugh, but one got the impression that it nipped back a little bit. Let's have a look at it. He's batting outside the crease there a little bit, and really quite a long way forward, although his back foot is touching. It wouldn't have been going over the top. The big question is, did he get outside the line? Well, Steve Waugh has struck, and that's a big blow for South Africa. So often happens just after the tea break. Andrew Hudson out, LBW. And he's on his way back now. South Africa 3 for 173.
Johnny Rhodes, the new batsman, will buzz around the Adelaide Oval. That was a big shout from Stephen Waugh, and Andrew Hudson back in the dressing room will be shaking his head, a little bit concerned about that LB. It's a nice start by Johnny Rhodes. He's finally off the mark. Four runs off the over. 3 for 177. Very good view from the members side on. It's unusual here in Adelaide that the members is side on to play. The fast bowlers look quite sharp. That's the view across towards the members.
Oh, he's bowling! Well, that's the quicker one, and it really did him neck and crop. He really has been mixing him up, the odd slower ball, and Border calling on Waugh here, and he really is making inroads into this South African batting lineup. That was a quicker one, kept down a little bit too.
Never walked apart today, Johnny Rhodes. He was all over the place, moving around, and that one there, he was nowhere near it. His footwork was terrible, but it was a good delivery, a cut back as well, and it stayed down. So Stephen Waugh picking up 2 wickets since tea, the wicket of Hudson for 90, and Johnny Rhodes for 5, and South Africa all of a sudden a bit of strife at the Adelaide Oval. New batsman Daryl Cullinan. Beautiful delivery from Stephen Waugh. Really made a mess of Johnny Rhodes' stumps. He was nowhere near it. He never looked comfortable from the moment he strode to the pitch against Stephen Waugh. That's a good start. Daryl Cullinan whipping that away for 4. Fine shot.
That's a lovely shot. Waugh wouldn't be very happy with that. That one's slipping down the leg side. He's done that on a couple of occasions, and we've watched Cullinan miss one in this area.
Done it. Steve Waugh has done it again. Shades of Eddie Barlow here, the last time the South Africans played so many years ago. And Steve Waugh, having made a lot of runs, has now picked up 3 wickets. Daryl Cullinan inside edge onto the stumps. Now that has put the cat right among Bill Laurie's pigeons.
It's a very loose shot there from Daryl Cullinan, and looked to me as though Steve Waugh was just congratulating his captain there on that field placing. It's 5 for 195.
Brian McMillan is the new batsman coming out to replace Daryl Cullinan, who was bowled by Steve Waugh via the inside edge for 10. 3 wickets for Steve Waugh, and McMillan now will be the one to face. 5 for 195, 270 the follow-on figure. The South Africans have got themselves into deep trouble here. McMillan is off the mark. That's beaten Boone, and he's also beaten Border, the man at short mid-wicket. 5 for 199. Here at the Adelaide Oval, Steve Waugh, 8 overs, 3 maidens, 3 for 14. And now Shane Warne.
Brings up the 200 for South Africa, the sweep shot.
5 for 202. Now it's going to be Steve Waugh from the Cathedral end again. He's picked up the wickets of Hudson, Rhodes and Cullinan. 1 LBW and bowled the other 2. It shows he's bowling very straight. LBW, a slower ball from Steve Waugh. And completely beat Macmillan. Interesting to see the positioning of the batsman's feet and legs and body.
Certainly completely beaten with the slower delivery there. Well across Brian Macmillan, and I don't think he can have much argument with that, because it certainly wasn't going to go down leg side and hit very low on the pad. It's 6 for 203.
Well, it's Dave Richardson, the South African wicketkeeper, who's out there now. He's got a batting average of 17.15. And it looks as if we're going to have a change now. Good spell has come to an end. Stephen Waugh, 4 for 22, his figures. And now we're going to see Craig McDermott.
Very good effort by Stephen Waugh, 4 for 22, but Rhodes looked shaky from the moment he came to the Chris Cullinans in a horror trot, and Macmillan, not sure whether he can bat or not. Hasn't shown much on this tour to date.
Long chase for Shane Warne, and he throws all right. So obviously throwing not so much of a problem. Edged and dropped. Ball going down, and it's a difficult one, but Healy got the glove on it.
Beautiful delivery. That was an outswinger. This ball is 106 overs old, and he really pitched this beautifully, McDermott, and it moved away. It was a wonderful outswing, and Healy got to it and couldn't quite get the glove cleanly under it and put it down.
McDermott has finally got him, and that's a very good over from Craig McDermott. A well-deserved wicket.
So he was backing across, and Dave Richardson not as confident against pace. By Daryl Hare finding LBW. It looked plumb from behind. We'll have a look at that on replay. Well, I don't know. Dear, oh dear, the ball cutting a long way, and umpire Daryl Hare having one of those days, I feel. He's adjudged LBW, and that's the 7th wicket down for 222.
Richard Snell has worked on his batting in recent times in an attempt to improve it. Has a higher score of 48 in Test cricket, playing in his 4th Test match. Snell, we've seen him hit the ball pretty hard in the one-day series, and it may well be that he's got to try and play a few shots, because somehow or other they've got to get a few runs quickly. Get close to that target of avoiding the follow-on. That's a good shot. That's the sort of thing that is needed. And 50 to Peter Kirsten.
He's a good team player, no doubt about that. He's a veteran. He's only playing his 6th Test match. He's carrying an injury. He's been hit on the head once again today. Got a lot of guts and determination, Peter Kirsten.
And Richard Snell with trouble for Kirsten at the bowler's end. No, he's back quickly. So that's extremely well run by Richard Snell, and it's 7 for 235 at the end of that over.
Big problems for South Africa there. 7 for 235 at the close of the 3rd day, with Kirsten 52 and Snell 7. They lost 5 for 62 after tea from 32 overs, and it was timid batting all the way through that got them into a position of great strife. The bowling figures for the Australians: a very good effort. McDermott 2 for 48. Rifle 1 for 22, and Steve Waugh, 12 overs, 4 maidens, 4 for 22. Don't discard the job Shane Warne did out there. He bowled very well without taking a wicket for 68 runs. From 36 overs, he was penetrative, and he had the South Africans very, very much on the defensive. They lost 7 for 196 in 98 overs, and they began the day at no wicket for 39. They are in deep strife. They still need 35 to avoid the follow-on. Tomorrow, the 4th day begins at 11:20 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. We look forward to having you with us then. For the moment, it's goodbye. Welcome to the highlights of the 4th day's play of this final Test match of the series between Australia and South Africa. The South Africans deep in trouble. They still need 35 to save the follow-on. This is the way their scorecard looked at the start of play: 7 for 235. Peter Kirsten is the key to everything. He's 52 not out, and Richard Snell is 7. Very good performance from the Australians yesterday, particularly Steve Waugh. And his bowling figures are reflected there at the bottom of the list. 12 overs, 4 maidens, 4 for 22. No wickets for Shane Warne and none for Tim May, the 2 spinners in the Australian side. McDermott bowled well, and so too did Paul Rifle in the 12 overs. He was allowed 2 wickets and 1 wicket for them, respectively. Great conditions here at the Adelaide Oval once again. Not a cloud in the sky and a temperature promised of around about 30 degrees. We join play now with the first ball of the day. Paul Rifle is the bowler. He's coming in to bowl to Peter Kirsten. Your commentators, Bill Laurie and Tony Gregg.
That's a great start by Peter Kirsten. That's running towards the square leg boundary. It's going to make it. That's his highest test score, and what a very good start. Rifle just drifting onto leg stump, and he ticked him off beautifully.
Yes, he played the shot very well through the World Series on occasions. It's one of his strengths.
It's a good shot. Flies down to third man. Plenty of bat on that.
Yes, it looks as if Peter Kirsten's woken up and got out of bed on the right side this morning. He's decided to get these 35 nice and quickly.
Richard Snell on strike. Got a big job to do here, Richard Snell, to survive. Hopefully score some runs as well. And that starts well. That'll go through past Tim May. Well, they've broken the shackles. They were very slow yesterday, South Africa. 8 off the first over, and that's a good positive start. Maybe they had a team meeting and decided if they're going to get the 35, let's get them quickly and get them before the spinners come on. Might be their plan. It's going to be McDermott, who's bowled very well. 2 for 48 off 22 overs for McDermott. It's the bouncer. That's a good one. 2 slips and 2 gullies in for Richard Snell. That was a good ball by McDermott because he come forward the first one. He's going to force him back.
Good bouncer. This very nearly took his head off. But it does stir them up. Bounces at the tail, get them stirred up a little bit, and they play flashy shots. Well, that's a good delivery. Yes, he's got him caught behind. That's a beautiful ball from McDermott. It pitched on off stump, moved away. A little nick on that one, having bowled him a bouncer or two. Just got him thinking about it. Not quite so far forward that time. Hit the outside edge, and nicely taken by Healy.
It's a beautiful delivery, that. Perfect outswinger. Plenty of edge on that. Noted about that one, and that's the end of Richard Snell. That's a big blow for Australia. 27 runs in arrears, South Africa, to avoid the 4-1. It's 8 for 243. Varney de Villiers with a career average of 10. That's what he needs to make today. 27 runs to avoid the 4-1 for South Africa. Tense moment here for South Africa. Trying to avoid the 4-1 in the third and final test match. Ducks into the short pitch delivery. Varney de Villiers there with the arm guard on, the chest pad.
Mate, he doesn't need those. Hard as a rock he is. Have a look at this. Never even moved.
8 for 243. Peter Kirsten 57. Varney de Villiers yet to score. It's going to be Paul Rifle from the river end. It's a nice on drive. That'll beat Tim May. Took a long time to turn. They really need 4 here. Varney de Villiers will be a danger if he comes back. He's coming. The throw hits the stumps. He'll be close to out. He's there. My word, that was good running by Varney de Villiers. Hits the stumps. It would have been a dead heat.
Yes, it would have been out, I reckon. Direct hit there. Border came to pick up the throw from May.
Shane Warne continues coming over the wicket to Peter Kirsten, and it's good morning to Richie Benaud and Ian Chappell.
Certainly not for any long period of time. Brings up the 250. Varney is not going hard, and in fact he's been sent back. So they're just taking the 2. And that really does confirm that he doesn't want to expose Varney to Shane Warne.
There is another play that could be made by Allan Border. He could bring on Tim May at the end, so de Villiers in fact would have to face spin, but then Kirsten, if he got to strike against May, would be hitting with the spin. All little subplots. And that's a good stroke to a very bad ball, the flipper from Shane Warne. The rankest of rank long hops, and 4 more to Kirsten.
He's run up there, but he's got quite a bit of turn. This is what we're going to see for the remainder of this game. There's a lot of turn there for the spinners, and that's why South Africa must get past the follow-on.
Just a couple of steps there, Shane Warne, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind doing it again if he can produce a delivery Just like that, that has spun an enormous amount.
That'll help. There'll be at least 3 runs here. Farney de Villiers has taken off. He's looking for 4. I doubt that they'll get them. Peter Kirsten won't get back for 4, although pick up and throw takes them to 269, those 3 runs. South Africa needing 1 run to avoid the follow-on. 3 runs from the over, 8 for 269. There it is. It's a very important moment in this test match. South Africa avoiding the follow-on. Shane Warne continuing to Peter Kirsten. That's a bat and pad straight through to Mark Waugh. Peter Kirsten knew he'd got bat on it. He's done the major job. His 79 runs were very important in South Africa's endeavour to avoid the follow-on. He's very cross with himself here as he has a swing across the line.
Big bottom edge. Mark Waugh moving very well into there. Terry Prue having no doubt that that was out. That's Shane Warne's first wicket in this innings. Surprisingly enough, we'll have plenty of chance to have a go at the South African in the second. Peter Kirsten's gone, a very well compiled 79.
Allan Donald strides to the crease to replace Peter Kirsten. 9 wickets are down for 270. Allan Donald will be delighted with that. Means now that Alan Border has to work out how many more runs on top of the difference in this first innings total. They will need to set a target for South Africa to chase. Australia are good enough to bowl South Africa out. They'll do it for less than 300. Time is of the essence as far as Australia is concerned, and there's a run out. Allan Donald committing suicide there. Farney de Villiers is disappointed. In fact, it's de Villiers that's committed suicide. Got a bit excited. Having done all the hard work, he batted for 77 minutes this morning in support of Peter Kirsten. Australia have bowled the South Africans out for 273, 196 runs behind. We'll be back at the Adelaide Oval in a moment with Richie Beno.
Well, that was a wonderful effort from the South Africans to save the follow-on. 196 the lead for the Australians. This is the way it finished up. 273 in all. They needed 270 at the start of play. 132.2 overs used up. Hudson made 90 and top score. And today Peter Kirsten finished up with 79. A very, very good effort. When you think he's taken a couple of rather nasty blows, he's done very well indeed. And the bowling figures for the Australians, Shane Warne finished with 1 for 85, 44.2 overs and 15 maidens. Bowled pretty well, even though he doesn't figure at the top of the wicket-taking list. Steve Waugh stayed with his 4 wickets at a cost of 26. McDermott 3 for 49, bowled very well indeed, 27 overs, 9 maidens and 3 for 49. 196 the lead for the Australians, and we join play now in the first over, 0 for 0. Allan Donald is the bowler. Michael Slater and Mark Taylor have opened, and Slater is taking strike. And your commentators Tony Greig and Ian Chappell.
Runs cut away down towards third man. The Australian first innings lead is 196, so if one assumes that they can score at about a run a minute, should get them a lead sufficient. Assuming, of course, they score quickly enough for them to be confident to declare and get the South Africans batting again for this last session after tea today. Very well played. Looking at Murphy's pads there, and it's gone for 4. Been taken over into the fence. Snell down there. Really good time that one beautifully, Mark Taylor. No wicket for 12. Macmillan continuing. So I can remember a few of our batsmen popping through. That one really is well played. Lovely shot through the offside field there for 4. Taylor really getting stuck in out here. Anything loose, he's hitting very well.
And no slip. McMillan pays the penalty for no slip. And Paul has hit the advertising hoarding. It's none for 23. Allan Donald has been given a slip by his captain, a slip and a gully. Brian McMillan is at first slip. Big shout from Allan Donald, and umpire Hare, who's been giving quite a few LBWs in this game, has just got another victim.
Pretty adjacent here for Allan Donald. Michael Slater across the crease. See here, no significant foot movement. That was belt in the middle stump right out of the ground. Good decision from Darryl Hare under pressure, of course. Why wouldn't he be? Michael Slater's out for 7, Australia 1 for 23.
No change in the batting order for Australia. David Boone, the normal number 3, coming out in that position.
And Donald probably pulled his pace back a little bit so far in the second innings, making sure his direction is spot on.
Wicket maiden there to Allan Donald. It's 1 for 23. In the commentary position now, Richie Benaud and Tony Gregg.
See a change in the attack as well. So Hansi Cronje is going to bowl now from the river end.
A stroke. Allan Donald will chase. 50 comes up for Australia.
A very good shot. Down the wicket he goes to that one, and right over the top. That really is a lovely shot from Taylor. Will it get to the fence? I think only just. And what a lovely shot that was. A lofted off drive right off the meat of the bat. 1 for 56.
Beautifully played. 4 runs for that.
So Richard Snell is now going to be brought into the attack. He's going to be operating from the Cathedral end.
At the moment they're going along the right. It's the 20th over of the innings. They've got 61 up, so they're scoring at 50 runs per 100 balls, right on the dot. I would think at the start of the innings that's fine, but yeah, the run total.
Well, that was very interesting. I really would like to have another look at that one. Certainly 2 noises, and the bowler. Just have a look at it here. See the ball wide. Hits, and then did he hit the ground? Was that the double noise?
Full shot, and it beats mid-wicket. Snell just getting a little bit short, a bit down the leg side. 3 more to David Boone. Got him. It's his reward in the end. Richard Snell, an inside edge, and back goes the middle stump. Clean bowled for 38.
Richard Snell claims his first wicket in the Test match. He bowled reasonably well in the first innings. Perhaps not the best delivery he's ever bowled. Mark Taylor hitting across the line, drags it back onto middle stump. Snell not showing a lot of enthusiasm. I think it's more relief than anything else to see the back of Mark Taylor. I think he thought he had him, or knew he had him an over or so ago. So Mark Taylor has gone for 38. Australia now 2 for 79.
Mark Waugh taking guard. And he was out for 2 in the first innings, but this will suit him, Mark Waugh. The field's back, there's no slip in, just the one man, Jonty Rhodes, in catching position at deep point.
Yes! Quick run again, Jonty Rhodes. Pick up and throw. May have been interesting had he hit.
Couldn't hit a barn door with a handful of wind at the moment, Jonty Rhodes.
That was an attempt at a Yorker. Did it hit him on the toe? No, it didn't. 3 runs off the over, 2 for 91. Well, this is McMillan now, looking very wary. And he's got him, yes, straight to mid-on. Boone sacrificing his wicket there in an effort to get on and score some runs quickly. So he's ended up getting himself 38, trying to smash that one over the top. And straight to mid-on it went. So McMillan has struck, Boone is out, and the score now 3 down for 91. So there it is, a tremendous Test career, an average of just over 50, 153 Test matches. And Border straight away into the action, smashing that one away down to third man. 1 off the first ball. He looks as if he's a man in a hurry out there. And I can tell you when he wandered out onto the ground here, oh, a little chat there. They had a few words in the first innings as well. No love lost between those two. This will be interesting. Warne leaning forward. He's not about to be affected by short of length deliveries. He's going to be looking for one almost every ball. Quick single and another side. The stumps, he's hitting this time, and that's got to be out. That's got to be run out. Border's got to be out there. Jonty Rhodes has hit the stumps at last. That's the third time he's had a go at Border, and that's the third time actually hit the stumps. Very important in the first innings. He missed the stumps twice, but this was a good bit of fielding. Border's walking, actually. He knows he's out.
Odds on this is out by a yard. Beautiful piece of fielding. Just settled enough there, Johnny Rhodes. Direct hit. Castle went down. Border departs. He knew it. He's near out the gate already. Sad end to that innings for Allan Border. Run out from a direct hit from Johnny Rhodes. Could possibly be his last appearance here at the Adelaide Oval. Australia 4 for 99.
So Stephen Warne out there. He's made already a magnificent contribution to this match. 164 runs in the first innings. So the brothers Warne out there together now. And that brings up the 100 at last.
The man in the hot seat at the moment, he's not out in the middle, but he's the one that needs to decide just how much is enough as far as the number of runs being scored in the lead, which is currently 298, and just how long his team needs to bowl South Africa out in the second innings. Steve Warne's off the mark. Just the one run from the over, 4 for 103. Mark Warne is on 10. Steve Warne 1. Allan Border, David Boone, Mark Taylor and Michael Slater are the batsmen out. Richard Snell continuing from the cathedral end. That's a good delivery. It's well taken by David Richardson. It's been given out. Steve Warne is not happy to go. He's hanging around. He doesn't want to go at all. Steve Warne has been hard done by in the past, and he obviously considers he's been hard done by again.
It's a leg cutter again from Snell, and it's come right off the edge, and very well taken there by David Richardson. To be fair to umpire Prue, he looks across. You see him there asking umpire Hare if it was up. In other words, was it caught above the ground? The answer was yes from umpire Hare. Quite correct on both counts. It's 5 for 103.
Ian Healy, facing a pair in this test match, has replaced Steve Warne. Dashing batsman, and he's off the mark. Well and truly. Quite emphatically off the mark with a 4. Quite a few batsmen dissatisfied with decisions in this game. The latest is Steve Warne. There's an outside edge there. Now Mark Warne has been caught by Richardson. Allan Donald, the bowler on this occasion. And the Australians are losing quick wickets in the chase for quick runs.
It's Mark Warne with almost a half-hearted sort of shot there. It wasn't really a full-blooded cut, more just dabbling with it. And Richardson taking a very comfortable catch on that occasion. No problems there for the umpire at the bowler's end. And the 6th wicket is down for 109.
Paul Rifle joins Ian Healy as the wickets fall very quickly here at the Adelaide Oval. And Healy picks the gap on the leg side this time. Richard Snell in the attempt to get his leg cutters really going, straying onto the legs of the batsman at the moment. Allan Border has decided that's enough. He's called the batsman in, signifying that he believes 320-run lead is enough to win the test match.
That's a good decoration by Allan Border. 6 for 124. Top scorers there, Taylor and Boone, 38 runs each, and Healy and Rifle, the not-out batsmen. 6 for 124, and that sets a target of 321. The bowling figures for South Africa: 2 for 26 for Donald, McMillan 1 for 33, and Richard Snell 2 for 38. We join play now on the 6th over. It's none for 7. Rifle is bowling to Kirsten, and the target for South Africa, 321. Your commentators Bill Laurie and Simon O'Donnell.
Oh, bottom edge, nearly go for 4. Trying to cut it square on the offside, and races away down to fine leg for 4 runs.
That's what can happen on an uneven wicket. Gary Kirsten expecting that ball to bounce a lot more on that inside edge.
No 11 as Greg Chappell and Tony Gregg take up the commentary.
Oh, big appeal there for LBW. Umpire Prue shaking his head again. That one probably just slipping down the leg side. McDermott showing his disapproval by walking around in little circles there.
Umpire Terry Prue of the opinion that it would have missed leg stump.
Oh, got him, caught in the gully. That one's gone flying towards Stephen Waugh. He's taken the catch, really flayed that ball and went straight to gully. What a blow for South Africa. A short delivery outside off stump, went for the cut shot, and Australia have broken the opening partnership.
Andrew Hudson, the top scorer with 90 in the first innings, a little bit unsettled with that LBW appeal, sees the ball short and wide, didn't quite get it in the meat of the bat, straight to Steve Waugh, great hands in the gully. Andrew Hudson's on his way back to the pavilion. South Africa in trouble, 1 for 12.
Hansie Cronje is the new batsman. So 1 for 17 now, South Africa. Hudson out for 2. Kirsten and Cronje continuing, and the ball in his hand. It's Shane Warne in the commentary box. It's going to be Ian Chappell, and with him is Richie Bennett.
Oh, yes, gotta be. No one wants to go from the batting point of view, but Shane Warne has got one through there that has zipped off. Looked as though it was a top spinner rather than the flipper. I think Hansie Cronje is absolutely overjoyed with the decision.
Well, I think what he's saying is that he's hit it, but I think what umpire Hare has said is that the ball hit the pad first and then went on to the bat. Certainly the South African captain is not happy. It's 2 for 17. Well, the Kirsten brothers will be together now. Peter coming out to join half-brother Gary. Shane Warne getting a breakthrough with the top spinner.
Just got to make sure that he's covering his stumps with his pads as well. That's good from South Africa's point of view because it'll get the right-hander away from Shane Warne. All sorts of little side issues come in for the close-in fielders with someone like Shane Warne bowling to a left-hander. There's always the chance that the ball will fly off the pad if he's padding it away, and even fly up and hit the glove, from where it could certainly be caught.
Oh, and he's bowled him, leaving it alone. That has spun a long way. Kirsten didn't even get the pad across there.
Well, I can tell you, it sure went up my spine when I saw that. It's a bit like getting out in England at Old Trafford. That was simply brilliant. That is a wonderful delivery. Gary Kirsten, the third man out in the South African innings, brilliantly defeated by Shane Warne, and it's 3 for 18.
Well, here's a move fraught with danger. Night watchman coming in. There's a shout asking for stumping decision. Players in close looking straight to umpire Prue. He says no. So Fani survives just. South Africa chasing 321 for victory are 3 for 18.
That's a brilliant performance from Warne there. 2 wickets, Kirsten and Cronje. 3 for 18 South Africa, and in a great deal of trouble at the close of play on the 4th day. The bowling figures for the Australians: McDermott 1 for 8. I thought bowled beautifully once again. and 2 for 2 from 7 overs and 5 maidens for Shane Warne. So it's a long way to go for the South Africans. 321 they're looking at, and they're 3 for 18. 1 day to go. We look forward to having you with us at 11:20 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. For the moment, from the Adelaide Oval, it's goodbye. The final day of the last Test match between Australia and South Africa at the Adelaide Oval. Welcome to the highlights, and this is the way the team stood at the start of play on the last day. South Africa 3 for 18. They have a massive task there to make the runs. You can forget about that. It's just a question of whether or not they can survive. They only have 7 wickets in hand, but the pitch is still okay. It'll take a bit of spin, as should be the case on the last day of a 5-day match. And the men out, Hudson, Kirsten and Cronje. Peter Kirsten is 1 and Fanie de Villiers 0. Bear in mind that they were the 2 who saved the follow-on problem for South Africa. They added 27 for the 9th wicket in the first innings. If they can do that sort of thing again, then it might start South Africa off with a bit of a chance on this final day. 3 for 18, and the bowling figures for the Australians. McDermott bowled very well yesterday once again. He's in good form at the moment. 7 overs, 3 maidens and 1 for 8. Rifle none for 7. Shane Warne has 2 for 2 from 7 overs and 5 maidens. Tim May, none for none. He bowled 4 maidens, and Steve Waugh so far hasn't bowled. Conditions just about ideal here again at the Adelaide Oval for this final day, and the crisis and climax of the match. We join play with 1 run added. It's 3 for 19. The bowler is Tim May. Taking strike is Fanie de Villiers, and your commentators are Tony Greig and Greg Chappell.
Fanie de Villiers gets off the mark with a thick outside edge. Probably run 3. Mark Taylor having to make the long chase down from slip. One of the problems for a right-hander with the off-spinner spinning the ball so much, he has to play at balls pretty wide of off-stump.
He's had a go at that one from outside off-stump and hit it high over the top of the infield and down to the deep wicket boundary for 4. So Kirsten getting just a little frustrated there, deciding to take May on. Whoops, and he very nearly didn't get to that one. He was concerned about getting his back foot back just in case he missed it, because he would have been out-stumped. The keeper was waiting for it. Just watch this.
The drift got him there. I've seen some blokes kick him away in my time. They usually use the drop kick. I've never seen the punt used before.
Warne to continue now. 9 overs, 7 maidens, 2 for 2. Really tossed that one up, and that's a good shot by de Villiers. Played that one straight down the ground. Ended up getting 3 here. Rifle the fieldsman.
Fanie de Villiers, not the worst tail ender.
Oh, that's well bowled. Yes, Warne bowled that one a little quicker. Have a look at this one spin, and this actually beats the outside edge. Well, that couldn't have been far away from leg stump. Kirsten once again trying that sweep shot. I don't think he got a little edge on that one. No, it was Byers. Now that must have been quite close to the leg stump.
Warne just taking his time. De Villiers on 8. And down. Into the hand and out. Bit unlucky there, David Boone. They either stick or they don't. Bill, we'll let you talk us through that one.
Yes, that went very quickly, Ian. It was a very good effort by David, but he's quite close there. Gathered that he hit it. I'm not completely sure, although Mark Waugh's hands going up there indicate that there may be an edge before it went onto the pad.
Very good attendances there. 18,277, then just over 19,000, almost 21,000. And yesterday, 11,500. So we're on 70,000 spectators before today. That'll be pushing up towards 75,000.
Gets it away. I'm not sure whether he hit that or not. We'll have to wait for the call from umpire Darryl Hare. Maybe a bottom edge. No buys. So the 50's up. It's 3 for 51. Good fight back here this morning by de Villiers and Peter Kirsten. This will be a test for Fanie de Villiers. The pace of McDermott. There's slipping a gully in. Short legs, silly point. It's interesting also as he gets an edge in a race almost down to the boundary. Taylor's giving chase. No. He's going to be happy with 3. It's interesting, Richie, that there's 19 overs been bowled in the first hour. That's something that doesn't happen very often at Test level these days. Oh, it struck him. They'll go for runs. Three-leg buys.
Not a lot of luck there for Peter Kirsten. He seems to have a blind spot where he just isn't sure exactly how to evade the cricket ball.
Well, that's a good shot. The wicket is playing pretty slowly today. I reckon it's died a lot on yesterday when it was really helping the pace bowlers quite a bit.
Definitely wasn't in his blind spot. He belted it.
The final over before lunch on the final day. Crowd edging closer on their seats towards the fence. Getting a good look. Big shout there for the stumping. He's asking for the replay. Umpire Darryl Hare. There wasn't a lot of support from the fieldsman close to the wicket. Healy's extremely confident. Well, this final over did Varney de Villiers go across the line.
Well, let's have a look at the replay. This is going to be close. Healy's reaction would suggest that he was out by miles. Well, he looks there, his foot in the air, and did it get down in time? Well, we don't know exactly when the bails came off.
He'll get the benefit of the doubt here, you'll find. It's up. And he's down. Safe. He survives. Good decision by the third umpire. Well, that's lunch. What a session. What a session for Test cricket. 37 overs bowled, 68 runs scored. South Africa didn't lose a wicket. It's 3 for 86.
Play is just about to resume here at the Adelaide Oval. This is the second session of play, final day. Paul Rifle is the bowler. Varney de Villiers, batting with a broken finger sustained yesterday evening, will take strike to this first ball after the luncheon interval.
Paul Rifle's got the shooter to come along, but wasn't quite on the right line.
Sends the shutters through a few of the batsmen in the dressing room. Just have a look at this one. Doesn't get up very high at all.
Paul Rifle continuing from the River Torrens end. Varney de Villiers is the striking batsman. That's a good delivery. Too good for the tail ender.
This one getting a bit of bounce, a little bit of leg cut. See that really go off the wicket.
Paul Rifle, none for 9. The crowd continues to stream into the Adelaide Oval. Quite a good crowd building up since lunch. Most of them here, I would imagine, in the hope that they'll see Australia win the Test match. Good bit of bowling there by Paul Rifle, but again, Varney de Villiers up to it. A couple of runs. They've been few and far between since the lunch break. Craig McDermott just tidying up around the front crease before he commences a new spell from the river end. So to welcome him to the crease, we've got Ian Chappell and Richie Bennett.
Off the shoulder. I wonder if Varney's grinning. He's into the second session of play and no one's got him out yet. And could be off the strike. In fact, Peter Kirsten might keep him down that end. That's exactly what he's going to do. Varney wanted to get back. This, in theory, anyway, should be well up and round about off stump. That's where it was, but they can run 4. Dermot putting that bit extra in has bowled a no ball, so there'll be 1 extra in the over. 100 comes up for South Africa, and it's a good performance. De Villiers has gone, and it's the last ball before drinks. Kirsten will be devastated at that. De Villiers will be unhappy, but Kirsten will be absolutely devastated. He knew the drinks were coming out. They're on their way onto the ground now, and McDermott has broken through. And that is an enormous blow to Peter Kirsten, who's battled away there with De Villiers.
As Varney, the concentration had gone. He'd been unsettled by Craig McDermott, and Paul Rifle taking a good catch there at mid-off. So McDermott has succeeded in doing the enforcing job. De Villiers, a magnificent performance from him. 30 as a night watchman. South Africa 4 for 100.
Johnny Rhodes is the new batsman, just 24 years of age, and he's made that century, 101 not out. 4 for 100. Shane Warne back into the attack now. 21 overs, 7 maidens, 2 for 27. So Warne again. Oh, and straight to slip. Up goes the peel there. A big ask. Now, did that miss everything? Taylor held it up, but it seemed that Healy wasn't all that interested.
No, I think him on the thigh, the back thigh pad, or the back thigh for Johnny Rhodes. It spun a long way. You see, he goes across. Doesn't get anywhere near it. Hit the top of the pad and went to Taylor.
Oh, a big appeal, and this has got to be close. They're all up. Well, did that pitch just outside leg stump. He was playing from the crease, and Warne can't believe it. A lot of pressure on umpire Hare there. Let's have a look. Did it pitch outside leg stump?
Sure did, by a long way.
Good over, maiden over. 4 for 100. Kirsten continues. His score moves to 39 now. He's been out there for 220 minutes. That's much better, using his feet that time. Nicely played. And that'll go down to the boundary for 4. He's a good timer of the ball. I think he's got to do that a little bit. If he does that, his confidence will grow. And also, he can go down and then skip back into his crease and cut as well. Oh, and the big appeal there is the ball. Oh, he's given him out, LBW. Now, for a second, I thought he'd hit the back. Well, once again, he was right back on the stumps. It spun back down the line, and from round the wicket, off spinners can get him out. He doesn't seem to like it too much, but let's have another look.
And his best chance for LBW is around the wicket. Does a spin back and hit the stumps? That's the question. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I don't know. From that angle there, to be maybe going past leg stump, it certainly was spinning a long, long way. He was back, admittedly, but where was that ball going to finish?
Maybe going past leg stump. It was going way past leg stump. 5 for 105. Daryl Cullinan is the new batsman, just 26 years of age. He's had a really tough time of it here. He's on strike now. And Tomei over the wicket, and Cullinan gets that one away, so he's off the mark. Commentary box now, Ian and Greg Chappell.
5 for 108, South Africa. 87 overs have been bowled. The second new ball has been taken. And it's going to be Paul Rifle, who's only bowled 5 overs for the day. He bowled them from the river end. Big shout there. Daryl Cullinan really does live dangerously.
You can't afford to give the umpires too many opportunities to give you out. That really is taking a big risk. Why anyone would want to throw the pad out to a ball that's coming back into them.
That's more like it. That'll give him a bit of confidence right off the middle of the bat. Peter Kirsten is still there, 257 minutes. He's held out against Australia. Craig McDermott is indeed going to bowl at the river end. And he's been given out. Peter Kirsten can't believe it. I think he feels as though he's got an inside edge. Umpire Hare has given another LBW.
Craig McDermott did not appeal until after the fielders behind the wicket started to appeal. He's just indicating there that he's hit the ball. It'd be a great tragedy for Peter Kirsten if in fact that's the case. You watch Craig McDermott, he just as an afterthought starts to appeal. Darryl Hare gives it out. Peter Kirsten, very disappointed after a marathon nearly 10 hours batting in this test match. Has finally been out. LBW to Craig McDermott for 42. South Africa under pressure now, 6 for 113.
Brian McMillan comes to the crease, asking for one leg from umpire Hare.
There's a great opportunity this afternoon for Brian McMillan and Daryl Cullinan to do something for their reputation as batsmen. Neither of them have had a great deal of success in this tour with the bat.
Brian McMillan will get off the mark quite comfortably on this occasion. McDermott is not happy, and he's having something to say to Brian McMillan. And he's suggesting that McMillan gave him a bit of a nudge on the way past.
Brian McMillan just completing the run, just bumps the arm of Craig McDermott.
Brian McMillan looks to me as though he's come out very determined.
That's off the back of the bat, and he's caught behind, and that is a brilliant catch. Off the back of the bat, Daryl Cullinan has failed again, and this time in a very unfortunate manner. But again, it's in an error. He's brought about his own dismissal by leaving up the periscope as they go to the tea break.
That's number 200 for Ian Healy. Cullinan ducking and leaving the bat up. And that's an excellent catch from Healy. He's just got it in the end of the fingers. What a terrific performance. And that's the sort of catch that can really change the whole circumstances of a match. Quite an amazing catch by Ian Healy. Brilliant performance. So once again, Craig McDermott has struck. And South Africa are now 7 down for 116.
Against the odd trial and tribulation or two, the new batsman taking Daryl Cullinan's place will be Dave Richardson. Tony Greig is in the commentary box, and with him is Greg Chapman.
Warne over the wicket, bowling to Richardson. As he played, no one out there, so David Boone is going to have to chase the ball, crash helmet and all. Caught that one, and once again everyone's going up, but the umpire taking no notice. No one there. One's been played straight away to mid-on and back for the second. Another good over from Warne, 4 runs from it, 7 for 127.
Captain, his manager on the right there on the telephone, perhaps calling for reinforcements.
Now then, he threw it up in the air. I think he caught it. He didn't regather it, that's for sure. But Taylor, a very good catch at first slip. Takes the catch there off the bowling of Tim May. And we thought that going round the wicket may be quite useful. Have a look at this again.
Tim May getting the angle across the right hand, and no spin there. Off the leg of Ian Healy. I think it may have been a very unlikely catch had it not hit the leg of the wicketkeeper. David Richardson is out for 10. Court Taylor bowled May. South Africa 8 for 128.
Richard Snell is the new batsman, just 25 years of age. Well, this will be a big challenge for him. Batting average of just 19. That's 2 legs. South Africa 8 down for 128 now. In the commentary box now, it's going to be Bill Laurie and Ian Chappell.
8 for 128 on the final day of the third test match. It's Shane Warne to McMillan. That's got to be out. Yes, that's plum. beautifully bowled. 100 Test wickets for Shane Warne. Beautiful flipper. That was slow and straight, and McMillan's out. It's now 9 for 128.
Yes, he's been trapped for the second time with that flipper, right on line. Both of them have been absolutely plumb. Brian McMillan knew it straight away. So Shane Warne, number 100, and appropriate that he should get it with the flipper. It's 9 for 128.
Allan Donald making his way to the wicket to join Richard Snell. 9 for 128. Shane Warne bowling to slip a gully, silly point, short mid off, leg gully, short leg to Richard Snell. Gone, that's the end of the series. 1-1. Shane Warne takes the return catch. That's the end for Richard Snell. Wonderful effort by the Australians here. They defended 469. The first innings well. And the series has ended a very good result, I think. 1-1.
Yes, they're two pretty evenly matched sides, and I think it's a fair result. 1-1. Richard Snell just at the last minute decided to drive that, pick the full toss. Shane Warne's got a very good pair of hands. He's excellent in the field, and he's done some good work off his own bowling. See there the top spin of that one. Snell just deciding at the last minute to hit it hard, and consequently gave it a fair amount of bottom hand, and Australia victors by 191 runs.
There was a great performance from the Australians, 129 all out for South Africa, and actually it's a sorry card, although in years to come when people look at it they won't realise the tension that was here around the Adelaide Oval today. 129 all out for South Africa. They started at 3 for 18. There was only the one worthwhile partnership, that between Kirsten and de Villiers. 82 they put on. They batted a long time and they looked like saving it at one stage until McDermott, the enforcer, rather than Hughes, the enforcer, came back into the game. There's a partnership of 12 between McMillan and Richardson later on, but it looked as though it was going to be Peter Kirsten and de Villiers who could do the job for South Africa. 129 all out, however, and the bowling figures reflect how well the Australians did. McDermott, 19 overs, 8 maidens, 4 for 33. Rifle, 11 overs for 15. Warne, 30.5 overs, 15 maidens, and 4 for 31. And in the course of that, he took his 100th Test match wicket. A terrific performance from a great young spin bowler. Tim May, 2 for 26 from 32 overs. It was obviously very defensive play all day, but interesting all the way through. And Steve Warborder and Mark Waugh bowled just a handful of overs. And here now is the victorious captain, Allan Border.
Thanks very much, Allan. Just on behalf of the Australian team and on behalf of the South Africans as well, we've had a tremendous summer of cricket. It's probably amongst the toughest Test matches I've been involved in. And I'd just like to say what a great game it was here in front of a tremendous crowd on a tremendous ground. We are looking forward to going to South Africa. I think our first game is in a couple of days over there, so we don't get much rest. Looking forward to playing the South Africans on their home soil. I know we'll have just as hard a series over there as it's been in Australia. Thanks very much.
Allan Border, the Australian captain, in very good mood there. The series squared, 1-1, and matches to look forward to now in South Africa. Now, matches coming up after this great win here by the Australians with 191 runs to spare. At the weekend, there are Mercantile Mutual Cup games. They're being played in Hobart and Sydney. For the moment, though, from the Adelaide Oval, a beautiful place and a great place for the Australians this evening, having squared the series, we say goodbye.